Hey Maria, back with another video. It's like 2:28 p.m. and it's Tuesday, May 8th, and I'm kind of following up from the other video that I made earlier this morning. This is Preconceived Ideas number 2, and hopefully I won't stray off the subject matter. You know, I had my mind filled with so much other crap this morning when I woke up that I couldn't quite stay on track. But I did kind of, address some issues that were in the back of my mind since going through all of this stuff that, I'm left to sit here and think about 24 hours a day, seeing as how I have nothing better to do. Now today is very hot today. Not as hot as it was a few days ago, but it was enough to make me understand that it's time for me to break out my air conditioners. So if some of you guys have some good ideas as to what I should do about this dilemma that I'm dealing with, I would greatly appreciate it. Last year I purchased these air conditioners for my home, and these are very old-fashioned windows, so they go in and out, like this. So, I mean, I'm supposed to have like this little slat where this tube goes into the window set. I don't know what I did with it, but I still have it somewhere. I don't know where it is at the moment. So as soon as I find it, that could be an easy fix. In the meantime, this is kind of sitting out like this with the hose dangling out. So I have my air conditioning on in the house, and I have to talk to the landlord about the swamp cooler that we have here installed in the house so that I could use that in the evening time. And then I have this air conditioner. This is the first one I purchased last year, and it's actually supposed to set inside of a window, but the price was pretty good, and I figured I can kind of improvise. So I have it sitting on a stand, and it's kind of going outside of the window. Last year I had like board going inside the window with some aluminum foil right here to protect the board so that it wouldn't catch on fire, just in case it would. I don't know if it could or not, but it gets really hot. So I really am just not really wanting to mess with the cardboard because I was starting to get really frustrated. So if you have any ideas, I was thinking about getting some netting, because this is one of those in and out windows, and since this is like a window which should be dangling outside the window, set inside a window, that's not the case here. So if you have any ideas on how I could kind of, I don't know, improvise, I would greatly appreciate it. So anyway, going back to this video, so the first video I wanted to do is about preconceived ideas, mainly about me, not necessarily about race or religion, but since that kind of has affected my life, I did want to make a few comments about it. Please excuse this video because it's just like all over the place. So I'm tired of getting off the subject, so let's talk about being preconceived ideas. Okay, so earlier I was talking about how when I got back to Bakersfield back in 2009, I was dealing with some hostile people, and I was assuming that, I was thinking that perhaps maybe I was dealing with this hostility because Polly and Joel were considered to be like a couple. And, the reason why I was thinking this is because I'm kind of going way back, thinking about things that had happened, things that people were saying, things that she said that I didn't take, that I didn't think about at the time, and I'm putting everything together, and I'm thinking, okay, this could very well be it. Well, I can assure you I had no idea. When I think of people who have children, even if they're adopted, I don't think that. You know what I mean? I don't think that they're going to have some sort of relationship with each other. So I think the preconceived idea is that I must have busted up their relationship. Well, I can assure you I had no idea. I will say that when I left Joel the first time, he and I were legally married. So I didn't bust up anything. But I'm not saying, I can assure you I'm done now. But my point is that all of these rumors get circulated around, and people are quick to believe things. And I think people were more quick to believe it just because, number one, I lied to my husband many years ago. But one thing has nothing to do with the other, okay? I think that was a very minor thing, and that's really all there really is to the issue. But people kind of jumped on it because of racism. So that was kind of an issue that I think kind of pisses me off because, you can overlook good people just because you have preconceived ideas about them. There are a lot of wicked people of all nationalities, races, creeds, or whatever. And sometimes we think, well, just because this person doesn't look like me, therefore what people are saying about her must be true. You have to take a closer look at these issues before you start formulating an opinion. Anyway, so when it comes to my race, I think I have dealt with a lot of preconceived ideas relating to me, and a lot just me, but other people of color. Sometimes they have, people have these assumptions about how a person is supposed to be, and really, there's different varieties in people and personalities of all races. Just I see Hispanic people all the time. And, it's stupid to think that one size fits all, because some Hispanic people, when I say Hispanics, I'm talking about all-encompassing. I'm talking about Mexicans. I'm talking about, Puerto Ricans. I'm talking, well, I should actually say Latinos, okay? Maybe I'm using the wrong word, okay? But when you look at these people, it's like one person might have one personality and another person might have a completely different personality. They may be of the same background, but they still have different likes, tastes, and interests. Just like, there's white people who have interest in, like, sewing. Some people like running. Some white people like heavy metal music, and you might meet a white person who can't stand any of that. All they want to do is they want to listen to country music, and this is whatever. But you notice that there's a variation in their personalities, their tastes, their likes and dislikes. Sometimes when you meet people of different races, you think, well, they're all this. They all like the same thing. They all do the same thing. They don't, okay? They don't. They are just as human as everyone else, and they have their likes and their preferences. And I think oftentimes, we watch things on TV, and that kind of paints an image of who people are as a whole. Like, I remember somebody watching, I think, the Jeffersons, I think it was, and they thought that every black person was what they saw on TV. And so they kind of based what they thought my personality was going to be based on that TV show. And when I would say white people, or other people in general, don't have a lot of interaction with people of other races and backgrounds, their only point of reference is a television show that was written by somebody who probably wasn't of that race and produced a television show based on stereotypes, and therefore these people think, well, this is what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be what you are supposed to be, based on your likes, tastes, and interests, and the environment that you're raised in. And there's other contributing factors as to how people actually develop and become, okay? Now, I know some black people, like myself, I don't like rap music, but everybody assumes that I like rap music, which is kind of funny. I don't like rap music. There's a few rap songs that I do like that were, I would say, many years ago that came out, but like modern day rap music, I couldn't put up with that. But people think, well, this is what you're supposed to like. That's not true. Black people like all kinds of music, and I would say it's just because of what they think and what they see on TV, and they think that all black people are supposed to talk a certain way, and it's not true, okay? There's just as many variations in other people of color as there are in the white race, okay? Like, you see white people who might be very prim and proper, and you might see a white person that's a complete and utter slob, okay? It's just, you have to be able to determine a person's personality based on who they are as an individual, period, okay? Which is hard for some people to do, especially if you were raised in a very, when I say the word ignorant, it's not to be offensive, but you are very limiting in your, very limited in your understanding. As far as my religious backgrounds, of course, like I said, I cut my teeth on Christianity and, well, I would say the Bible or whatever. And because you don't go to a church and you don't go to church, doesn't mean that you don't have faith or that you don't believe. I'm a strong believer, okay? But I do remember having a conversation, kind of getting off the subject, sorry. Can't help it, because I'm kind of wordy, especially when I get off from work. I remember having a conversation with Joel's mom, Polly, perhaps Joel's lover, whatever. Anyway, this is when I was working over at H.M. Holloway. And she was asking me how much I made, which was intrusive and none of her business. And I said, well, I made this much money. And then she said, she said something about, you're not a Christian. Now, this is what makes me think that she had something to do with my employment. First of all, the ignorance of certain people. First of all, you're not supposed to discriminate based on your religion, okay? And also, when it comes to Christianity, or any kind of religion, basically, for that matter, people think that, just because you don't go to church, that you don't have morals. And I think that's the biggest issue. Is that people think, well, we're Christians, so therefore that makes us good, and then you don't go to church, so therefore, some people don't like some of the BS that's being spoken on the podium. They just don't like it. Some people don't like showy displays of materialism. Some people want true spirituality. That's not to say that it can't be found in churches, but I haven't found anything like that, okay? And that's my choice as an American citizen. As a matter of fact, you know, even I would say God endorses that, because, you know, you use discernment when you're trying to affiliate or associate with some sort of religious belief system. So there's a lot of fakers out there, okay? I'm not saying all of them are, but, you know, I have my rights, and I choose not to just jump in blindly. But, so when it comes to people and their religion, they automatically assume that people who aren't Christian don't have morals. Like I said before, I'm not an atheist, okay? But I know there's a lot of atheist people out there who have very strong morals, okay? Like I said, because based on what they believe, some of them believe, okay, that this is our one and only life, that they cherish it and respect the fact that there's this one and only life. So they're kind to people, because they're very they get involved with a lot of humanitarian type causes, because they want to contribute to this one and only life and make it better. So it's wrong to assume that, you know, if a person doesn't go to church, that they have bad morals, because that's not necessarily true. You have to get to know people, okay? And you have to be able to kind of reprogram your mind, because unfortunately there's a lot of brainwashing that goes on, especially in small communities, okay? Small communities that have been closed off for many years, okay? Like, I would say, no offense, Bakersfield, but, you know, I've met some really nice people, and some of these people have been very enduring. They're very cute, you know, the things that they say and whatever. But when you are in an environment like that, it tends to be very closed-minded, and the understanding is very limited, okay? And I mean, people have their traditions and stuff like that, but when you think about, if your tradition is something that leads to ignorance, is it of any benefit to you? That's my question, okay? If you just follow and allow yourself to believe things just because everyone in your family is done,